Welcome, FNOC57 here. Once again, I'm back on Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on the Xbox, and today is the Shattered Veil Starting Room Challenge Guide. So join me on this adventure as we go to round 40 to secure the guaranteed Wonder Bar Gobble, as well as our 15,000 XP and additional pack of gobbles. It looks like Explosive Flourish, Tactical Diffusion, not sure what the other one is there, a Flavor Hex, and Rainburst. You can do this solo or with a team. Personally, I'm going to be running through this solo. I have a crap load of gobbles, so I do want to use some gobbles here. I'm going to show you my loadout. We're not doing anything too terribly crazy. We're bringing in the badass ASG-89 with Dragon's Breath, of course. So, Monolithic Suppressor, Ranger 4 Extended Mag 2, Commando Grip, Light Stock, Steady Aim Laser, and, of course, Dragon's Breath is my setup for this. Melee doesn't matter, but we'll bring the Cali Sticks. I'm going to recommend Ether Shroud, and then we'll be bringing in the Tactical Decoy and the Lethal for Combat Axe. As far as gobbles, obviously you can use whatever you would like on this. I do recommend that you bring in either a Crate Power or Wall Power, but it's not absolutely a necessity. A Shields Up or Killjoy can get you out of a sticky situation, and let's be honest, most of us have a lot of gobbles built up by this point. So normally I don't use gobbles in the vast majority of my games, so obviously I could make it ridiculously easy on myself and just bring in a Perkaholic and Hidden Power. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to take the slight rough edge off of the challenge and bring in a Crate Power. We may not even need that as far as augments are concerned. It's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. You're going to get some random perks, so I would just make sure that you have your augments set up how you would like them. I'll quickly go through and show what I'm using. I do believe that Dying Wish on Quick Revive, Probiotic and Hardened Plates on Juggernog, those are pretty much go-to things. You don't really want Melee Macchiato. Speed Cola, if you get it, I prefer to have Supercharged and then Fast Pitcher. Vulture-Aid, Fetid Upgrade with Picky Eater is going to be my recommendation for every map. Death Perception, we're on the shotgun build here with Critical Eye, PhD Flopper, every map, PhD Slider, and Turbologist. Deadshot Daiquiri, again, shotgun build, Dead Again with Dead Draw. Double Tap, shotgun build, Double Impact with Double Play, and Elemental Pop. If you happen to get it on this map, this is where we will make a change, since we are not guaranteed a ammo mod. There's really no arsenal station unless you somehow added it. So I would recommend that you use Imperial Peach or Electric Cherry. Again, entirely personal preference on this one. You can also add Pineapple Blast, where equipment can also trigger a random ammo mod, or Vulnerable Bean. Either way works out. To be completely honest, it's entirely personal preference. So we're just going to go ahead and drop right into Shattered Veil. I'll leave all the gameplay here for you guys, and add some sections to the video so you can skip around if you would like. Obviously, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to leave me a comment. I'll do my best to help you guys out. And if you enjoy the video, help the channel out by smashing that like button. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe with notifications turned on. So this is the third easiest map. I've already posted videos on The Tomb and on Citadel d'Amour. Both insanely easy maps that you can do without the use of gobbles. You can do every one of these maps without the use of gobbles, but we're just going to get right into it. So there is a free combat axe that we can take here in the very beginning of the map, and I do recommend that you do so. We don't have a whole lot to work with on this map. There's, a couple of the white boxes. There's the Rampage Inducer. You do have a mystery box spawn, hence why I brought a couple of gobbles to play with. And that's really about it. So right here, we're going to need to get some points, try to land some crits if we can. I'll try my darndest to keep the video as short as possible. This is going to be the very first map that we're covering where you don't have much at your disposal. So we are going to be extremely squishy. And I know a lot of times things don't get said that it should kind of go without saying, but just because of the fact that it should go without saying doesn't necessarily mean that, well, maybe it should be said a little bit more. So obviously before you start the match, you want to make sure that you have all, and I do mean all, of the weapons that you possibly could get in the mystery box. Have a custom zombies loadout saved for them. This way, if that's the weapon you get from the mystery box, at the very least, you're going to have the attachments on it that you want. Obviously, we can wait to pick up the nice spicy double points. Try to make full use of all of your points here, all of your power-ups and equipment. We're going to be using a lot of equipment this game, a lot more than any other map. So just, you're going to have to pray to the RNG gods, yes, the random number generator gods, that you get what you want. And if you're not comfortable with playing with the rampage inducer on, by all means, guys, feel free to turn that stuff off. You don't have to have it. Here we're going to grab as many points as we can. I was a little late on grabbing that nuke, but that's okay. The biggest thing that folks are going to be worried about are going to be these toxic zombies. This is why a lot of folks consider Shattered Veil to not be a easy map. But since we are playing here in solo, personally, I believe solo is the way to go for this map. I think solo is actually the way to go for the majority of these maps. Just gonna miss my shots there like a pro. Simply because when we play solo, we get a few things that we normally don't have. Now, is this zombie stuck? Okay, no, he's not. I was like, what the heck is going on with that guy? But we get a self-revive, obviously. In addition to a self-revive, we have the ability to just press one button and pause the game. So while you can do this in a squad, it's just a lot easier to do solo. You'll have to get used to sliding around and whatnot. We also can play back in this area. So we're going to be letting the Dragon's Breath do the vast majority of the work for us. And just, you know, keeping in mind that the hardest part of the round is often the beginning of the round when you've got zombies spawning from many different directions. So another thing that's often not done and not really talked about is it's okay. It is honestly okay to just play the first few rounds of the game till you get your first random perk. And depending on the random perk that you get, just go ahead and leave the match. So like right there, I got Death Perception as my first random perk. And to be honest, I would say leave the match at this point. I have never had Death Perception or Melee Macchiato as my first two perks, and then received Juggernog. So just kind of keep that in mind. We want Juggernog. Alright, let's see. First perk. Juggernog. Let's go. Just like I was starting to mention there, you may want to go ahead and flip through the first few rounds with the Rampage Inducer toggled on. Just try to get to like wave 8, maybe 9 at the most. Should take you less than 5 minutes. Probably more along the lines of 3 minutes to do. And just see what your first two random perks are. If they're completely trash, then just scrap the run and restart. That is if you're, you know, wanting to make this as easy as possible on yourself. Which, obviously, we kind of want to make this as easy as possible. I'm going to try to take full advantage to the absolute max of this. So in all of my runs across the various maps while testing and trying to figure out the best ways to do this, I have never started with my first two perks as Death Perception or Melee Macchiato and then received Juggernog. It just did not happen within those first 4 random perks. So if you get those, I would highly, highly recommend that you go ahead and restart the game. Just try to get something a little bit more favorable. Now, we're going to be doing the bulk of our work here with the shotgun. We technically may not even need to grab a weapon from the mystery box. But I'm, you know, just to take the edge off of things, I'm going to use a crate power, maybe a respin cycle here, and we're going to get a mystery box weapon. If we get lucky, it might be something pretty darn spicy because, well, let's be honest, there's really not much that we have to spend points on. So initially, especially since we have Jug, we can, you know, melee a bit, grab our second random perk coming in as Death Perception. Now, that's not all that terrible. I personally, I don't want it though. not gonna lie. I mean, I am on a shotgun build, but I would have much rather have some quick revive or speed cola or PhD flopper or just about anything other than Death Perception. But this game does, at least in this mode, love to give us Death Perception. So I do have the shotgun. I do have the shotgun build for my augments like I showed at the beginning of the video, which should make this possibly pretty helpful. We've got the chance of our body shots turning into crits, which can be decent. It's not going to really do all that much, though, for us. It'll do some, but not all that much. I'm going to throw an armor plate in here. Oh, a triple roll? Oh, very nice. We just got some gums just normally. Tactical diffusion in the mix, a support group in the mix. That's what I love to see. I love to see free gumballs. And see, I get so many gums just playing through the game, as most of you folks might know if you've watched the streams, that I don't use the gumballs. So this is a good chance for us to at least use a couple of these gumballs. And yeah, our weapon's kind of starting to fall off here. It's going to come to a point really quick where I at least personally recommend turning off the Rampage Inducer. Now, if there's some extra equipment on the ground, you might, you know, be inclined to just go ahead and pick it up. Grab yourself a couple of kills with it. That's perfectly fine. Whenever you want to get ready to hit the mystery box, if you are going to hit the mystery box, you absolutely want to go ahead and make sure, just to give yourself more time, that you have a crawler in play. Explosives are a fantastic way of creating a crawler, so if you're not using an explosive weapon, you know, using a random Semtex or random, you know, frag grenade or something to go ahead and create a crawler is a fantastic idea. But also remember, you know, come later parts of the game, later waves, having all those crawlers may come back to bite you in the butt, because getting crawlers, well, crawlers are a pain in the ass. Crawlers, you will get stuck on crawlers if you're not careful. Thankfully, since we don't have much to spend our money on other than hitting the mystery box and buying ammo, we can pretty much freely just kill all these zombies. Of course, if you have taken my advice and made a crawler, well, unfortunately, that crawler is going to despawn if you get too far away from it. So just bear that in mind. I'm feeling alright about our setup for perks, though. I am going to toggle off the Rampage Inducer. I'm just not a super big fan of playing with Rampage Inducer. While I feel pretty good about this run since I have Juggernog, it's not quite 100% ideal since armor plates are really not dropping that much for me, and we're definitely taking some damage getting through these zombies. I would have loved to have elemental pop. Obviously, you can use those nukes to your advantage. If you don't get too far ahead of the horde, then the horde is not going to respawn in front of you. So just, you know, kind of keep that in mind as you're running around. If you circle tighter, then you will have less stuff spawning on you and behind you, and then, you know, when you circle around, you can just come back and grab, like, your combat axes. That's why I recommended combat axes in the first place. They're always a insta-kill regardless of what wave it is for regular zombies. Now, we do have a insta-kill here. If you were popping gumballs and you wanted to, you were willing to do it, then, you know, activating something even as benign as a temporal gift would make your life a lot easier. So we're going to try to get the maximum benefit from this insta-kill here. I turned the Rampage Inducer back on. If we're lucky enough to get Vulture Aid, that can play a huge part, having these decoys. I feel like I get more decoys than what I get shock charges when I use shock charges, so I definitely prefer to have the decoy. These max armors are a godsend. Remember to make sure that you know, run zombies around. Use the full area to your benefit. And then, of course, when you want to, just as you're passing by, you can go ahead and toggle off or on that Rampage Inducer. And don't be afraid to just, you know, turn it on for a round, turn it off for a round, you know, that type of thing. Give yourself some breathing room if you need. We'll be working with only a one-plate vest here. And I'm sure there might be more specific strats for exact spots that you can stand and whatnot. This is just the best that I've come up with personally.
Who the hell comes up with this shit?
We do have a mystery box, and I do fully intend to use it. So, a green Kriegsee, I'll pick that up for now. It's not really the end-all be-all. It's not going to be my go-to gun, but I'll pick it up for now. There's a GS45 wall buy, so for anyone that wants to do this with the GS45s, hopefully you get PhD Flopper. If you do get PhD Flopper as one of your first couple of perks, then obviously it opens up the option of, you know, doing that, using an explosive weapon with relative safety. As you can see, they can really schwack through your armor quick if you're not careful. So, kind of why I prefer hipfire. I know it's obviously not going to do as much damage, but it still packs a pretty good punch. We just had a power-up drop. That's one of the things you don't want to do. You don't want to get too cocky and be too hungry for those power-ups. It is a double point, though. We have a trap right here. That is another thing to keep in mind. You have this trap. Use it. Again, you don't really have a whole hell of a lot to spend money on. And obviously, you can use the strategy of just underbarrel drill charge. Underbarrel drill charge does seem to be the go-to strategy for most maps. We're trying to do things a little bit differently, where we don't rely on like anything that's super OP. Personally, I feel like they're going to nerf that underbarrel drill charge. It does do an absolutely insane amount of damage, especially if you direct impact with it. Once again, now that we have a different weapon from the mystery box, something with a little bit more ammo capacity, we're going to go ahead and, for just one wave, toggle on that Rampage Inducer. Once that's activated, we'll grab our insta-kill. Oh, this happens to be a bug wave. Well, a toxic zombie wave. And of course, these guys will spawn in different spots. Obviously, having the range of a rifle is going to make these waves a lot easier. Get down to just a couple of zombies left. And we are definitely toggling off that Rampage Inducer, because these zombies do get a pretty decent speed boost. Now we're going to have to deal with a not-so-friendly enemy here on Wave 16, more than likely. Not exactly set up for it. I do kind of recommend that you get your Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. We got ourselves a Elder Disciple here. This guy is super, super annoying. And he's going to kind of hide. It's better if you have a packed weapon or something for this guy. What we're going to do is we're going to use the trap method to our advantage here. So we're going to use this ether trap. We can kind of get this guy stuck in it as well. And surprisingly, he sort of just deletes himself. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that. I've seen it happen for other folks, but I wasn't expecting to get that lucky. Unfortunately, if he does delete himself because of the trap, then, well, you're not getting a Bubkiss from him. So if you can, the Wave 16 Disciple, you don't want to actually kill with the trap. Like, that's kind of a no-no. Because you want to see if he'll drop you a score streak. But like I said, we were a little underprepared there. We're going to eliminate one zombie. And then we're going to try to get something from the mystery box. Ideally, you want to make the zombie a crawler before you hit the mystery box. And ideally, you want to hit your mystery box weapon on wave 15 before the Disciple. But again, personal preference. Larja, also not entirely a bad weapon, but not entirely great. So we're just going to keep hitting the box here for a few minutes, see what we get. We got a Maelstrom.
It's a fucking soup sandwich.
The Maelstrom's actually pretty good, but my loadout doesn't use the Dragon's Breath round, so for this map, we're not going to do it. Sog, also not terrible. In the meantime, we're also listening for that little noise. The trap coming off a cooldown. Alright, we got a purple Lardra. Purple's pretty good for now. So we'll hit a respin cycle on it. See, maybe we can get something else. Maybe, possibly. Something a little bit better. A purple LR. Ooh. Oh, that hurts my feelings that we got that. Because if I had PhD Flopper, just absolutely amazing if we had PhD Flopper. But we don't have PhD Flopper, so yeah. Definitely a little on the rough side. I'm going to try to get another one of my respin cycles. I know I'm wasting a few gobbles, but again, I mean, I have like 99 plus respin cycles, and I've had 99 plus respin cycles for a while, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm going to save this armor plate. I could try to actually turn this zombie into a crawler with the LR. If you're really lucky, you can blow off a zombie's leg with a sniper shot, but I have a feeling that this being purple rarity would just kind of, you know, boop it straight out of existence. It would be better to save this for legendary if there was a legendary spin. Oh man, Lardra, come on, game. Just.
Oh yeah, let's get kinetic.
Alright, so like I was saying, if you have a weapon in your hands, I basically don't usually see it from the mystery box. Just something to kind of keep in mind. So if I swap out the weapon that I have, like that annoying LR, so I pick up the LR, so I have it in my hands, I'm probably not going to see it in the mystery box. Oh my god, let's go, boys. Wonderwaff. We probably should not be doing this right now, but we're doing it. We're going for a packed Wonderwaff here, baby. Let's go. Alright, was it the right call? I don't honestly know, but again, I have never had the Wonderwaff from a mystery box before, so we're gonna use it here. Let's see how it does. Alright, I'm almost forced to do that when I actually get a weapon like that. Like, I mean, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, from the mystery box, but hey, you know, let's see what happens. Honestly, we have depth perception. If we were able to get Deadshot Daiquiri again with the infinite ammo shoddy augments on here, we could pretty much in theory go a unlimited number of rounds with the Wonderwaff, because the main thing here is all about getting ammo back for the Wonderwaff, since it does not get a lot of ammo, but it electrocutes a very, very good chunk of zombies. Pretty impressive per shot, to be honest. And then, of course, you can get all sorts of other, you know, lethal and tactical from it. So, just imagine if you were getting your ammo back. Come on, Deadshot Daiquiri. Oh, look at that. We got Deadshot Daiquiri. The RNG gods are blessing me today. So, let's see if we can get any ammo back for this. We have 4 rounds in the magazine. Yep, there we go. Oh, this is, there's just no excuse right now if we fail. We use a shot. Ding, ding, ding. We just got 2 shots back. 3 shots back. Oh, no. I almost got stuck on a tree. I don't know what the heck happened there. That was weird. Ding, 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 ding. And just get our ammo back. Yep, this is the high round strat. Like, this is actually legitimately the high round strat when it comes to running Shattered Veil normally. So, obviously we can't rely on that too much, because that is just absolutely epic and broken, and we just made this the absolute easiest run that we possibly could even think about asking for here. Which, obviously, I wasn't asking for it. I have... Okay, game, what's going on here? Citadel D'Amour, I pull the Ray Gun Mark II from the mystery box for the very first time here on the old Shattered Veil. I pulled the DG Wonderwaff from the mystery box for the very first time. Like, I don't know what's going on with my luck at the moment, but it's doing something. Now, obviously, we got to keep moving here. Oh, bonus points. Don't mind if I do. Now, we sort of kind of need to care about points, but at this point, that would only be for ammo for the Wonderwaff. Like, every time we fire this thing into a horde of zombies, we're going to take out pretty much 10 zombies. Obviously, if you are not lucky enough to get the DG, then you're going to be keeping up with circling around, using your shotgun, putting some damage on the zombies, letting that dragon's breath burn for a little while, maybe coming and using the trap. Like I said, you know, activate the trap up here, the ether field generator, and then go ahead and just wait. Run the final zombie for the round around in circles until the trap comes off a cooldown, so then you can flip to the next wave. And that's pretty much what you got to do. Or just have stupidly broken luck, because apparently the game just wants me to have all my fun when I'm actually recording. I could not pass that up. Sure, I used 3 gobbles. I used a crate power because, well, again, you'd be silly to not grab the DG Wonderwaff here. You'd be completely silly not to take it if you had a crate power without using the crate power. And granted, we did use 3, I think, respin cycles. But, you know... Honestly, I was trying to get, like, my AS Val or my XM4 with the drill charge on it, so I could show you that. Really, anything of a decent purple or hopefully legendary rarity, and we'd be pretty good here. But instead, I mean, we're just cooking. Like, at this point, we can go as high as we want to here. Oh, cat trying to sabotage me. Made it to round 20 already. Not bad, not bad. Definitely going to have a little bit of editing on this file. Again, same thing. You know, you're looking for the same process. Go around in circles, group everything up. As soon as you see a parasite, you're going to want to prioritize taking out that parasite. You do not want parasites to be able to transform into anything else, which is obviously what we just, you know, allowed it to do. When there's a bunch of zombies on the map, they will transform into doppels pretty quick. Obviously, I got this DG, so, you know, it doesn't really matter all that much. But if we didn't have the DG, then what we'd have to be doing is just getting some ammo, getting some damage in. Once they all get built up, you'd want to run them around to this trap. And then you're basically letting the trap get the majority of the kills. And if things get really, really hectic, you can also then retreat down the stairs. Remember, you will take damage from the trap, but you can retreat down the stairs here and run everything into the trap, because the only zombie spawn points are up these stairs, then like crawling out of that wall and crawling out of that wall. So the main thing that's hard about the trap and juggling the trap is, well, juggling the fact that you don't actually want these zombies to all die. You only want a few, like maybe 2 zombies left, and then you want to run them around so that you can get your trap to come off of cooldown, because again, that trap is super, super important. You also don't want these guys to spread out too much, especially these exploding zombies. We don't really have a lot of time to look at them and admire our handiwork. Obviously, gotta look for any, and I do mean any, score streaks that might drop. Score streaks are life. They'll make your life so much easier, especially if you don't have the DG. Like, we're killing them, you know? We're killing these guys. We're getting them. That Dragon's Breath, even on a white rarity shoddy, putting in work here. But of course, we can also just be like, yo, back off. Now, of course, you see how those guys just spawned ahead of me. That's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid them spawning ahead of you. So you got to kind of keep your pathing a little bit tight. We're getting ammo back from our crits there. Again, Deadshot Daiquiri. Now keep in mind, I could use the DG, obviously. This Wonder Waff is insane. I love it. Wonder Waff DG3. And I love that combo with getting ammo back for it.
Max ammo.
Now, unfortunately, there isn't a single file zombie funnel point. So it's not as good as if we had the full map available. Oh, we just got... Oh, look at that. A free fire and a who's keeping score. We got 2 epics here. Like, that's what I'm talking about. We're going to get rid of that parasite. And again, just showing folks like what you have to expect. You know, this is what you have to expect if you are not sitting there and you know, rocking a lucky pull from the mystery box. So obviously we would want to prioritize the disciple. Disciples are one of the most annoying things that you have to deal with. This is where any score streak that you get would come in handy. Especially because the disciple is going to, well, yeah, he's just going to evolve zombies, and evolved zombies are really annoying. What did we get? We got a nuke? Sure, we'll just use that. It's not like we really need it. I have options. Because, yeah, our trap's on cooldown, but that's alright. So pretty much other than being squishy at the moment, we're doing good. Wave 23, we've got purple rarity on the GS45. If you wanted to buy it off the wall, obviously there's the mystery box. You can keep hitting the mystery box, even if you are not pulling a weapon. If you're going to do a no gobble run, still hit the mystery box because you may get a score streak from it. Like, I have pulled quite a few score streaks from the mystery box. And on a open area like this, you can really take advantage of a hellstorm. The death machine shows up quite commonly. If you get a zombie week, you can get some, you know, extra. Like, honestly, death machine's pretty good. But the death machine isn't one of those score streaks where you use it all at once. The death machine is one of those score streaks where you use a little bit on like this special, a little bit on that elite, and you just shred them that way. Or of course you can shred them with the ether field generator trap. Either way, if you use a score streak to kill them or the ether field generator, you're not going to, well, you're just not going to really have a super good time with it because they're not going to drop you more score streaks. Also, remember I said here in solo we can go ahead and pause the game with one button. If you get those frame rate drops, I have no idea why. It only seems to be a thing in this mode, and it only seems to be a thing in solo. If you go into a team game of this, a squad game, it doesn't seem to do it anywhere near as often. But if you go in solo, then you really, really just want to pause your game for a few seconds when it starts to do that frame rate drop and let things catch up and balance out before. Especially if you're doing a no gobbles run, which right now we're not doing a no gobbles run. As you can see here, obviously this is going a lot slower, not using the trap and not using like a packed weapon or anything. So that's why folks don't do it. That's why folks don't choose on purpose to go with a no gobbles run. Now we got ourselves an insta. If you do have a special or elite up and you have like an insta kill or something, you can do really good. Careful of that bridge. That bridge is honestly a death sentence. We're just going to kill that doppel here. That was an extra doppel, so we'll just kill him. See if he drops anything for us. Oh, I thought I had the insta. Oh well, the insta went away. Dude, I love the fact that we have this TG. I cannot believe that we just pulled this thing. Hardest part about this, again, is just survivability. I mean, unless you get super lucky with your perks, you're probably not going to get quick revive. I very rarely see quick revive show up. And we don't want these parasites to transform. So, gotta keep an eye on that. One armor plate is just nothing. Even with Jug, one armor plate just does not last. So we're going to go ahead and use this trap to our advantage again here. Start getting additional damage dealt. Obviously, this is where if you were using drill charges would be the way to go, and you'd rely less on the trap and more on the damage from your drill charges. That is totally an option too, by the way, guys. Just because I don't use it doesn't mean you guys don't have to, you know, disregard it. I'm okay. My feelings won't be hurt too much. We got a death machine. Very nice. I have a death machine. For some reason, there is a weird bug. If you have a death machine, it does not let me pick up another death machine that dropped on the ground. We're going to run this doppel around for a second. Steal that death machine. Now I have 350 ammo for the death machine. Nope, armor plate, definitely need that. Just waiting for the trap to come off a cooldown. Not that I really need it. I have that Wonder Waff, which is absolutely nutty. We'll probably end up killing this guy with the Wonder Waff. But just to show another reason why we brought these combat axes in while I'm waiting for that trap to cool down is let's take a look at the insane damage that we get. Like, the higher the wave, the more damage these combat axes are actually going to do versus the special and elite enemies. So it might not seem like a huge deal, but it makes a considerable difference. Once again, all we want to do is just go ahead and group up the enemies here. Again, if you have parasites, when the parasites spawn, you want to get rid of them. They should be your big priority target to remove. And honestly, if you have something that does more damage than, well, the ASG, like, the ASG per shot is not really that great. It's all about the Dragon's Breath right now. I'm just kind of trying to show options, you know. I don't want to make the video super long, but I also don't want to make the video just a hyper-edited, super short thing. Because I want to give folks the option to do this in different ways. If you want to use gobbles, if you don't want to use gobbles, you know, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, this is a map that's entirely possible to do without the use of gobbles. It's just a matter of managing that ether field trap, which I'm doing a terribly bad job of.
Tear them to pieces.
And then, of course, knowing that every wave where we get these toxic zombies, that's what's going to be the frustrating part. Like, these guys, in the early rounds, as I said, they're not really all that bad. In the later rounds, they can definitely be something. But if we keep them grouped up fairly tight, so that they don't actually run off and then despawn and respawn ahead of us, getting, you know, some free shots on us, they're not too bad to deal with. Now, of course, if you had the underbarrel drill charge, you could make very short work of this horde. And obviously, just, you know, using the trap is pretty much the best way to go. But I just wanted to go ahead and show that we have options. We have our combat axe that we can use. That thing is always going to be a one-shot, regardless of what wave we're on for regular zombies. As long as it's not a special or an elite. And then we can just kind of walk back by and grab those axes again. Of course, a zombie really in your face can be pretty difficult to hit. And I would recommend that you get a little bit used to using the combat axes, because we're going to be using the combat axes later, and it's a bit of an acquired tossing angle for the combat axes to get the most benefit out of them. We'll definitely be needing those later on, so it's good to get some practice in with those. Obviously, if you are doing this with a squad and folks are willing to use gobbles, then you can very easily get this done grabbing a wall power. You know, just have everybody pop a wall power, grab the GS45s off the wall, and you can kind of just chill in the back. You can also use the drill charge launchers. Again, just chill in the back, alternating fire. It's fairly easy to do. The hardest part about this map is simply the fact that you have only a one-plate vest, and at most, even with the use of gobbles, you're only getting pack 1. So, compared to other maps, yeah. Obviously, we can hit the mystery box, hope for the best. I'm going to use this Wonder Waff versus that Oh, a legendary PP, man, that would be nice. We're gonna hit a respin cycle here. I want to see what else we'll get. Why? For no other reason than because. Oh, legendary Grakova. Honestly, legendary Grakova, that, like, those show up fairly often, and I mean, their downside is ammo capacity, but they do surprisingly well. Like, I mean surprisingly well.
Max armor.
Definitely take advantage of the max armor if you're lucky enough to get one. That is huge. Obviously, right now would be a little bit difficult if we did not have the Wunderwaffe here. But, of course, like I've shown, we can very easily go and use the trap here. And for some reason, this guy just really does not like the ether field. More often than not, he deletes himself from existence. But even if he doesn't delete himself from existence, you know, you can use the safety of the trap to your advantage. And then just kind of gun him down. Obviously, it's not going to be super quick to gun him down. But this is where, again, our combat axes can come in. 6,700 damage with the combat axe. Not terribly bad. Not terribly great. The biggest thing you have to worry about with a Disciple is the Disciple evolving. So basically, he's going to put out these zombies and he's going to eventually evolve them. And that's what you want to make sure does not happen, because if he evolves them, he can evolve them all the freaking way to doppelgasts and then amalgams. So definitely an outcome that we would rather not have to deal with. But it's pretty easy to deal with him, or he can be, I should say. If you need some breathing room, then you can just very easily use Ether Shroud. That's what I have Ether Shroud here for. And this happens a lot. Now, I'm being super aggressive, but that's just because I have the DG. If you don't have the DG, then you're not going to be able to afford to be super aggressive against the Disciple. The old Wunderwaffe DG3. I'm just playing with this because I've seen other folks use this setup, but I have never actually been able to get it myself. So, oh, we're going to get ourselves stuck. Have to pop a Ether Shroud there. That's kind of unfortunate. Super easy to get stuck. Like, that is one thing I am not used to, is just how easy it is to get caught on something when you don't have the higher armor vests. Oh, there's a nuke. We'll take advantage of the nuke. Looking for some armor. I think the trap's off cooldown here. Yep, the trap's off cooldown. We have the death machine too. I completely spaced on the fact that I had the death machine.
Weaponry. Who the hell comes up with this shit?
I can hit the mystery box and see what I get. Some GS-45s. Getting trolled there. I was hoping that we could get a score streak off of it. Once again, I'm trying to not use the DG, the Wunderwaffe DG3 all that much. Trying not to like hard rely on it, so you folks can see that there are other options. But of course, it is not easy. Like, if you don't have a good weapon, you really have to dodge zombies, and you have to get your health back. Which, that whole, like, 7 seconds, I think it's 7.5 seconds that it takes to get your health back without getting hit normally, without having a quick revive. It's something else. Then again, the whole starting room challenge thing, it's been going on for a very long time. Folks have been doing it, like I mentioned in my other videos, for, well before, you know, this was actually a challenge mode. So, just kind of a gentleman's agreement. Don't open the doors and go from there. That type of thing. Now we're kind of at the point that bullet weapons really aren't going to do a whole heck of a lot. And again, while we're waiting for this trap to come off a cooldown, if you don't have a pack-a-punched weapon, you know, you can always hit the mystery box. It's about the only thing that we can spend points on. I'll just grab this kilo out of the box simply to show. Like, at this point, we're probably going to have a pretty good chance of getting legendary weapons. You're still going to get some meh weapons. You're going to get some greens out of the box and whatnot. You're going to get some purple GS45s. But, like, this doesn't have the launcher on it.
Right between the glowing eyes.
And it does a substantial amount of damage. Hoping to see my ASG in here. Even the Marine SP. The Marine SP is... This shoddy's pretty good, too. Obviously, this shoddy is nowhere near as good unless it's packed. So now we're dealing with the next disciple. Again, we've got our trap. Disciples are the hardest, most annoying part of this. Especially because they tend to like to hide. They just make a bunch of annoying enemies for you. So if you can run the disciple around and get him in the trap, that'll obviously make your life so much easier. And then if you have him in the trap, even if you don't have a really good weapon, that's where you use your score streak. See, I'm trying to give you guys the info, give you guys the tools so that you can do this yourself, whatever method you wish to use. Now, of course, here we have our second disciple. And again, we're not even in the pesky, annoying trap. We don't need to be in the trap. That disciple was at full health, and we just shredded him with the death machine. The death machine is not something to be underestimated. I mean, we have just under half of the ammo for the death machine left, and we've killed 2 disciples with it. That's pretty decent. Sentry gun, like I said, guys, like I said, you can very easily get score streaks. Absolutely, you can get score streaks from the mystery box. So even if you are doing a 0 gobbles run, you have points here. You might as well hit the mystery box. These Striders 22s, if you have them, especially akimboed with the 3-round burst, they can be kind of nutty. Like, you could very easily use that. There's so many options here. So many options. The biggest thing is going to be parasites. Obviously, parasites are going to be a little difficult because you're pretty much going to have to shoot them. We can kind of just hide behind this trap and our sentry gun. Let the sentry gun go to town. Just kind of prioritize the parasites yourself. Obviously, it's hard to keep a zombie alive when you have a sentry gun in play. It's possible, but difficult. You'd have to really run to the other side of the map. So we're getting towards the last part of the challenge here. You know, gold GS45s, totally an option. We do have them as a wall buy, though. The sentry guns only last about one wave. And as you can see, like, we're not really doing too much with the ASG. You can whittle these guys down, which is why I have it. But again, drill charge. I'm just showing. I know everybody's going to tell me, use the drill charge. But FN, you could use the drill charge. You could be so much faster. Use the drill charge. There's our frame rate drop there. We just, you know, kind of lagged back. So we're going to pause the game for just a second. Kind of just let it stabilize. I don't know why it does that. And I'm going to miss every single one of my combat axe throws. If you did the Sticks and Stones achievement, or Dark Ops challenge, I said achievement. I don't know why I said achievement, but if you did the Sticks and Stones challenge, then you probably are pretty proficient with the combat axe. This is simply to show you don't need to rely on launchers. You don't really need to rely on mystery box weapons. It just comes down to how much patience you have. I'm not that great of a zombies player. I mean, I like to think I'm alright, but I definitely know there's people that do a lot more crazy things out there than I do. So, yeah, we'll make things easy. We'll take the easy route here. Got another gobble spin. Another who's keeping score. Very nice. That's a gobble I don't have 99 plus of yet. Once again, we're going to have a pesky disciple here. Pretty much every time we get a disciple, we're going to try to maneuver the disciple to a point where we can be semi-protected by the trap and then Shrek the disciple. If you get really in a bad situation, then absolutely pop that Ether Shroud. We still also have a decoy that we can toss. And surprisingly, for being wave 33, I actually have not seen my 4th perk yet. Which is kind of weird. I mean, I suppose maybe I just missed it? Yeah, sure, totally. Like, I missed it. That's exactly what happened, right? Must have. Normally by this point, I have 4 perks, but it's entirely possible not to, so. I don't want to use the trap, and I'm waiting for the trap to come off of cooldown. There is a shock charge on the ground there, so that's something to keep in mind. Again, you're going to have to be a little versatile, and you're going to have to make use of different equipment, even if it's equipment that you might not normally use. So like that shock charge there, that shock charge can give us a good break from these zombies. Give us a little bit of breathing room for that trap to come off of cooldown. Again, if you don't have drill charges or you're not using, you know, a packed weapon or something. We have a packed weapon, so, you know, we can obviously buy some time with that. It doesn't do a ridiculous amount of damage to the doppels, but it's great at just, you know, taking out everything else, which is very nice. I don't want to activate the trap again, because if I activate the trap again, Then I'll have to wait for it to come off of cooldown. So, fun fact, since we're on a fairly high round, what we can do is we can use our combat axes to deal quite a bit of damage to these doppels. And more often than not, you'll stagger them a little bit. Or you can kind of start to stagger them with your shotgun, then hit them with the combat axe. They can be a little hard to hit, though. And unfortunately, well, that didn't quite give me what I wanted. Oh well. I was hoping for another death machine. I got 79 rounds left in this death machine. That's pretty good. An FFAR there. That's not half bad.
Keep stepping up, I dare.
Again, normally we just want to get a group of zombies built up here, and then train them all into this trap. Keeping in mind that the trap does do health damage to you. So, if you don't have quick revive, standing in the trap is going to be an awkward day. Now, depending on just how set up you are and how comfortable you are, you may wish to do what I'm doing here, which is where we don't actually kill the parasites first, but we let a parasite or two, potentially, stay alive, so that the parasites will eventually possess a zombie and turn into a doppelgast. You may want this evolving effect if you're hunting for more score streaks. Again, that just really depends on what you have at your disposal. So since you probably more than likely, regardless of what weapon you're using, unless you're just doing a fully fledged, gumball run where you have everything at your disposal that you might ever want, yeah, chances are you are going to be waiting for this trap to come off of cooldown. So while we're doing that, we'll just hit the doppel with a couple of combat axes. Yeah, sure, you gotta actually aim for this. That is one downside to using the combat axe. It's also possible to throw the combat axe outside of the map, which is very frustrating, especially if you only have one combat axe. But this also gives us a chance to hit the mystery box. Hand cannon. Oh, that's tough. I got 79 rounds in the death machine. I think I'm gonna keep that.
I got places to be and fuckers to kill.
While the hand cannon is not bad, the death machine definitely is better. Of course, we can keep in mind that that weapon is there. It's definitely an option for us. We're going to go ahead and let some of these zombies spawn in. We'll take a little bit of damage, and you can see you take quite a bit of damage. Oh, that's a doppel. That's a doppel. Thank you for the armor plate. Much appreciated. It takes a while, and I do mean a while, to get your field upgrade back. So I highly recommend that you don't waste your field upgrade if you can potentially avoid using it. Obviously, that's going to be a lot easier said than done, and drastically depends on, well, just what you're up against. Was that? I don't know what that was. Was that a war machine on the ground? Oh my god, that was a war machine. Awesome. Let's just use the remaining ammo from that death machine to go ahead and shred those specials. We'll take the war machine there. Again, if you need breathing room from doppels, shoot them. Even if your weapon doesn't do that much damage, it will usually cause them to stagger or do their little ranged attack. And that can buy you a nice amount of time. Also, the combat axe over-penetrates. So, just, you know, kind of keep that in mind. You can throw it through multiple doppelgasts. But, of course, then we have to go and retrieve our combat axes. So, yeah. And more than likely, these nasty doppels are going to be right on our heels. So, I wouldn't recommend constantly replating if you take damage from them. Just because you're going to go through all of your armor plates.
Worth keeping on hand.
Now the LDBR, that can be super useful as far as a score streak is concerned. It can be super dangerous because if you don't have PhD Flopper and you're standing in it, you will take damage from the score streak. Oh, Death Machine. Alright, alright. We got ourselves some options. Oh, we got ourselves options, son. Let's go. I lost a few combat axes. Not entirely sure where to. I had 5. I now have 3. Thankfully, the combat axe does drop fairly frequently. And we're just gonna, like, at this point, there's almost no reason to just shoot zombies. Like, we're just not dealing that much damage. Oh, there's one of my combat axes. Sometimes they get stuck, like, inside the fountain or in other weird spots. We can also juggle score streaks to keep the score streak from completely despawning. And you can kind of run hordes through, like we kind of ran that horde through a little bit, the LDBR strike. Again, this is what you're going to be relying on if, you know, you don't have a super awesome setup. You're going to rely on the traps, rely on the score streaks. Now, just to show the DG still, like, the DG3 Wonderwaff, yeah, I mean, it still completely Shreks if you have it. So, you know, I can clear out the entire wave with a few shots from this thing. It's straight up nuts if you're lucky enough to actually get it, but I don't want folks to think that that's the only way to do this, so we're showing other ways as well. Oh, we got an Insta too? That's nice, that's nice. Insta works with any weapon, as I'm sure everyone here already knows. We got a Doppelgast in play. There's not much we can have that's better that we're gonna get from that mystery box right now. Like, just waiting for the trap here mainly. Oh wow, Doppel took a little more damage than what I was expecting there. Got a decoy off of it though. We'll just swap score streaks again here. I want to keep both score streaks alive, even though that score streak's in a terrible place. KSV, not a bad weapon.
Tear them to pieces.
Just basically resetting the timer on this. Since the trap's down. We'll get these folks, all these little poison annoyances built up. Just once again to show you don't actually need to have anything super amazing. Like we we can do this without it. We can do this with just our combat axes. Obviously, much more dangerous to blow up these guys with the combat axes. Really gotta watch it. As you can see, they do a stupid amount of damage if they hit you. So we just gotta kind of stay back enough to get our health back here. Wait for our health to regen. And then, of course, we can start that whole process all over again. And by this point, there's going to be a lot of these guys. So the worst part is when you kill one, you know, then a whole bunch more are going to spawn. Obviously, the DG is just... Man, the DG3 is just so satisfying, especially versus those nasty exploding toxic zombies. It's very satisfying to see them all get electrocuted and explode.
Give me a pistol, and I'm taking a hammer to you.
Max ammo.
I think my ship just came in.
GPMG-7, not bad at all. Not really gonna work for what we want, but not bad. XMG,
Oh yeah.
also not terrible as far as a weapon goes, but not what we want. This is what I was waiting for. I did have to pop my Ether Shroud, which is definitely less than ideal. And you can't run very quickly when you have out that death machine, or the war machine for that matter. So absolutely something to pay attention to. We may very well lose that score streak. It should still be there, but I didn't get to pick it up again like I kind of had wanted to. This trap is going to do a very large chunk of the work for you here. Basically, you're going to kill the entire wave with the trap. Nice, I still got the war machine. Whoa. I don't know why this game has to do that frame rate drop, tear shenanigans. I really wish that it would not do that. Now that we're on an even higher wave, you know, we're doing even more damage to these doppels with the combat axes. So technically, yeah, it's a little weird, but technically speaking, it's getting easier the higher the wave we go to kill the doppels without using anything else super crazy. So if you need score streaks for whatever the reason, you know, this is the way to do it. Okay, we got another death machine now. I'm gonna use this, what's left of this death machine, since I can't juggle 3 score streaks. I'm gonna use that one up. Perfect timing for the trap coming off cooldown. It's really weird and really annoying. Sometimes you have difficulty picking up stuff because there's like an ammo pile in the way. Wish the game would not do that, but it does.
Good. That's an order.
Wave 39, last wave, boys, last wave. We're going to take a lot of damage there just because we're not paying the attention that we should be. I have my death machine. We don't even need to make this super crazy here. You just got to remember that you have to kind of watch the edge of these ether field traps, and then obviously the fact that the specials, they're going to get through. And doppels can be very annoying because doppels are very good at dodging. I really should not have gone down there. I have no armor. That was just me. I have no excuse for why I went down there other than just because. I mean, I should have just pulled out this and not worried about it, but
Death machine deployed.
we'll take our death machine out here. Why? Because we can. Now we lost our, unfortunately, we lost our Deadshot Daiquiri. So we really can't go infinite rounds. But we are about to be getting what we want, what we need. The wave 40 start. Here comes the gobble spins. This is what everybody wanted to see. There's our gobble pack. There's our flavor hex coming up. And there's our Wonder Bar. Now, unfortunately, you don't really have much of an option. So, congratulations on completing everything. You have done the starting room challenge. You don't have much left to do now. So, either feed yourself unceremoniously to a zombie, or go ahead and hit the quit button and unceremoniously be removed from the game. Unfortunately, those are the only two options to go ahead and get out of the game. Or, of course, you could just continue to go on to whatever round count you might possibly want to go to. Either way, it is entirely personal preference here. We are going to sacrifice ourselves to the zombies. Quite simply because I don't like hitting the quit button, and if you hit the quit button, then, well, you don't get the after action report showing the gobbles that you earned. It's really weird that way, but it is a thing. So just, again, keep that in mind. Zombies, may you feast on my soul. And we'll just fall over dead. Good game. And of course we get the elimination by the vermin of all of those things that were there. It took an hour and 12 minutes to do that, even though I did spend way more time than what was necessary mucking with the mystery box. Overall, not too shabby. It was very fun to play with that Wonderwaff DG3 Pack-a-Punch for the first time, and very lucky to get those actual things that we needed for it. That was super cool. Now, of course, we get our after-action report since we died instead of force quitting the game. There's our guaranteed Wonder Bar, plus our Gobblegum Pack and the 15,000 XP. And then we had a really good game with the first gumballs that spun normally from that game with the Tactical Diffusion Support Group Dead Drop, and then a Free Fire and Who's Keeping Score, and then a third spin of just a Who's Keeping Score. So totally worth it. Again, we really didn't even necessarily need to go and use anything Gobblegum-wise, and we still have 99 plus of the respin cycles. Like, I have no idea how many of those gobbles I have. I just have way too many of them. So that's an alternative option, folks, for getting it done if you want to do that. Obviously, another option is relying on the underbarrel drill charge launcher. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, please leave a comment. It helps the channel out fantastically. Till next time, my brothers and sisters, thy legion, stay frosty.